To the ones who don't run with the popular crowd, the ones who get caught reading under their desks, the ones who feel like they never get invited, included, or represented, get your leathers! We have dragons to ride. Welcome, curious minds and seekers of meaning, to Artificially Literate. This is the deep dive where we take books, films, ideas, and really try to connect them to, well, profound thought and our own insatiable curiosity.
Exactly.
And today, wow, we are plunging into a world that's thrilling, definitely brutal, and I think deeply resonant. We're talking about Rebecca Yarros' Onyx Storm.
Mm-hmm. A huge one.
Huge. And look, this isn't just a fantasy adventure, right? It's this nonstop pulse-pounding ride. It's set in this incredibly brutal military college for dragon riders.
Yes.
Bastieth, yeah. And it's just steeped in war, intense violence, really brutal injuries, and some absolutely heart-wrenching loss.
It really is. But like you said, beneath that action-packed surface, there's so much more going on.
So much, so many layers of meaning just waiting for us to unpack.
Yeah. What's really captivating about Onyx Storm, I think, is how the narrative, which is incredibly gripping and action-packed, it constantly pushes you, the reader, to grapple with these really profound themes.
Like what specifically?
Well, it's a masterclass, really, in examining control, the very complex nature of identity, the steep price of power, and, that ever-shifting landscape of loyalty.
Okay.
So this story, it isn't just about, dragon riders on a battlefield digging it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually this compelling study in how our deeply personal struggles are just inextricably intertwined with these massive global conflicts.
Right.
And also how the relentless pursuit of knowledge, especially maybe forbidden knowledge, often comes at this immense, sometimes unforeseen personal cost.
Absolutely. And that's our mission today, really. We want to embark on this deep dive together, exploring both the literal events, what actually happens driving the plot forward, and also those underlying philosophical meanings that I think resonate far beyond the pages of this incredible book. We want to help you extract the most important nuggets of knowledge, of insight from this story. So think of this as maybe your shortcut to understanding not just what happens in the narrative,
Right.
but really why it truly matters in a broader context, and maybe even how it might illuminate aspects of our own lives,
Precisely. We'll be scrutinizing how these characters, who are just pushed to their absolute limits, how they navigate these impossible choices, how they're constantly grappling with their own evolving identities as their world just shifts beneath them.
Yeah, it's constantly shifting.
Constantly. And how they deal with this overwhelming torrent of information and misinformation, which is key, much like we do in our own modern world.
That's a great point.
It's a story about resilience, definitely, transformation, and that relentless search for truth, even, or maybe especially, in a time of chaos.
The descent into the storm.
All right, let's unpack this world first, because Onyx Storm just throws us headfirst into the aftermath of something huge, some cataclysmic events.
No gentle easing in here.
No, not at all. Our protagonist, Violet Sorengale. And for those maybe rejoining her story, she was initially supposed to be a scribe, right? A quiet life.
The archives.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And she's been thrust into this perilous world of Bastieth, this brutal military college for dragon riders. And it's a setting where survival is absolutely not guaranteed. Alliances are constantly shifting, often with deadly consequences.
Yeah.
And from the very first moments, the very first pages of Onyx Storm, Yarros sets this chilling, almost suffocating tone. You're immediately immersed in Violet's profound vulnerability and the constant peril she faces. We hear her own thoughts, like, "Fear holds me with an icy fist and my footing grows unsteady."
Oof. Yeah.
That single line just perfectly encapsulates that immediate sense of being overwhelmed, of being thrown into a situation she feels utterly unprepared for, where every single step feels precarious.
That opening image is so powerful because it immediately establishes her core struggle. And it raises this really important question that I think resonates with all of us. How do individuals really cope and adapt when they're abruptly thrown into circumstances far beyond their control or preparation?
Right.
I mean, Violet is a scholar. She's accustomed to the structured world of knowledge, of books. Suddenly, she's in this brutal reality of physical combat, immediate threats, high-stakes survival.
Total opposite.
Completely, and it challenges our very notion of what it means to be well-informed in a world that shifts so unpredictably. Is it about having all the data, all the history at your fingertips? Or is it about that acute ability to quickly assess, adapt, and decisively act under immense pressure, even when you feel like your metaphorical feet are just sliding out from under you? Violet's journey, I think, is fundamentally about finding her footing, quite literally, In a world that demands so much more than just intellectual prowess, it's about this surprising resilience found not just in what you know, but maybe in how quickly you can learn to survive.
And right from the outset, as you said, this deep dive reveals the immediate, devastating aftermath of that brutal battle, the one that nearly cost them Bezjeth, their vital military college, the heart of their defense.
Yeah, the stakes are clear.
Immediately, the profound personal costs are laid bare, including the tragic death of General Sorrengail initially, and now General Sale, another revered leader and a significant figure for Violet. This isn't some slow build to conflict, the sheer gravity of the ongoing war against the Venom.
These dark magic wielders.
Exactly, who drain life and power from the land, from people. It's established immediately. It hints at this larger, almost existential threat that just permeates every aspect of their lives.
The descriptions.
Oh, the language is incredibly visceral, isn't it?
Yeah.
It pulls you directly into the chaos.
Yes.
You have wounded in every color of uniform lining the halls of the healer quadrant, and that pervasive smell of sulfur and ash clinging to everything. It's this constant, sickening reminder of the relentless conflict.
Yeah.
It's like a sensory assault that just doesn't let up. It underscores how unending this war feels.
It's an immediate baptism by fire for the reader and the characters. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, like you were saying, it starkly highlights how quickly peace, or even just a semblance of stability, can shatter.
Yeah.
And how individuals are often forced to move beyond their profound personal grief to confront these broader, immediate threats. Violet's internal struggle, where she tries to force everything I can't handle into a neat, mentally fireproof box.
That resonates.
It really does. It's a coping mechanism so many of us can relate to in times of intense crisis. She implicitly acknowledges how overwhelming the loss is, but she understands that if she wallows in it, that's all I'll ever have time for.
Right, you can't afford to.
You can't. It speaks to the absolute necessity of compartmentalization, especially for people in leadership roles or these high-stakes environments. Personal sorrow often has to be set aside, even just temporarily, for the sake of immediate survival and collective action.
It's a heavy burden.
It is. It's a powerful reflection of the human capacity to endure and keep functioning, even when the very foundations of your world have been violently shaken. It really makes you wonder, how much emotional baggage can one person truly carry while still leading effectively?
And here's where the narrative truly hooks you, I think.
Yeah.
It weaves this deeply personal terror right into the larger war. Xaden Ryerson.
Ah, Xaden.
Yeah, he's the enigmatic shadow wielder, Violet's love interest, of course, and he's central to this terrifying mystery right from the prologue. His eyes, those faint strawberry red circles around his irises.
Chilling detail.
It is. It's not just a quirk. It's a chilling, telltale sign of this hidden, dangerous power that seems to be consuming him. He's risking execution just by being out of his assigned quarters, but some insidious force is compelling him. And Violet's immediate reaction when she sees him is so telling. The only logical answer sent a chill up my spine that has nothing to do with a cold stone of the corridor seeping in through my socks.
So it's not just romantic tension.
Not at all. This isn't just about a secret rendezvous or forbidden love.
Yeah.
It's about a profound personal horror unfolding. It feels like a literal race against time for Violet to understand and maybe somehow save him from a condition that could lead to his death, or maybe even worse.
Transform him.
Exactly. Transform him into one of the very enemies they're fighting.
This is such a critical thread because it immediately introduces that profound theme of internal conflict, but on this deeply personal level. Xaden's harrowing struggle with a power that could consume him.
Yeah.
And Violet's desperate fight to save him, even from himself. It isn't just a fantasy trope, is it? It feels like a chilling reflection of how immense power, whether it's in technology, societal influence, or personal capacity, often carries this inherent destructive risk.
That's a really interesting way to put it.
Well, I think the true insight here is recognizing that control isn't simply about suppressing something dangerous. It's about finding this precarious balance where the very source of your strength doesn't become the instrument of your own undoing.
Right.
It forces us to ask, how do we approach immense power that also carries inherent, potentially destructive risk? Do we try to suppress it, seek to control it, desperately search for a cure?
And the responsibility of those around them.
Exactly. What is the profound responsibility of those who love or are connected to someone grappling with such terrifying internal dangers? It makes you confront how far you would go to protect someone from themselves, especially when their very being seems to be shifting into something terrifying and unfamiliar.
And the Dragon Rider bonds, they're always crucial in this world, aren't they? Terran's intense protectiveness of Violet, along with his direct, often blunt assessment of Xaden's changing nature, really highlight this.
Terran doesn't mince words.
Not at all.
Yeah.
His declaration that Xaden's soul is no longer his own,
Yeah.
and that kind of power is addictive. That isn't just a dragon grumbling about a rival, is it?
No, it feels heavier, prophetic almost.
It really does. It's a stark warning that carries immense weight, especially given that deep, almost telepathic connection between riders and their dragons. And Terran's actions further underscore his unwavering loyalty to Violet, even if it means opposing her decisions about Xaden. He's willing to, crunch his jaws near another dragon's head, Adam's head, just to make a point.
Yeah.
Or declare, I fly without warming my wings. Does that not answer your question? When she asks if he supports her dangerous, maybe reckless quest,
He sees it clearly.
he sees the darker truths, doesn't he? The insidious nature of the power Xaden is grappling with in a way that Violet, maybe clouded by love, struggles to fully accept.
It's an absolutely fascinating dynamic, and it raises that important question for all of us, really.
Yeah.
In the face of undeniable, alarming change in someone we love, how do we balance our unwavering loyalty with the instinct for self-preservation?
That's tough.
It is. And how do we interpret warnings from those who perhaps see the bigger picture more clearly than we do, especially when those warnings directly challenge our deepest emotional attachments? Terran represents this external, often brutally honest voice of reason. He highlights the dangers that Violet's love might inadvertently blind her to. His perspective forces us to consider the ethical dilemma, supporting someone through a dangerous internal struggle when that struggle itself poses a direct threat to others or even to the person you're trying to save.
Right.
It's about the incredibly difficult task of discerning between genuine, supportive love and, potentially enabling a destructive path. It makes you wonder how often in our own lives we dismiss the wisdom of those looking in from the outside just because it's uncomfortable advice.
That initial venom attack on the infirmary, too. It's truly horrifying. And it immediately reveals their insidious methods. That sight of a gray handprint marking the side of his neck.
Just chilling.
It's a chilling visual that immediately signifies this supernatural, life-draining threat that is already inside the walls.
Not just at the borders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a brutal reminder that the enemy isn't just some distant force outside. They're already within, forcing our characters into immediate life-or-death combat in what should have been a sanctuary, right? An infirmary.
A safe space.
And the speed and lethality of the venom are emphasized with terrifying clarity. That line, the black-haired venom moves in a blur. They're too damned fast. It highlights the sheer, overwhelming threat they pose.
Yeah.
And in that chaos, Violet's quick decision-making under fire, her swift action to equip Sawyer, her squad mate, with a dagger, and her decisive, defiant declaration, "None of us die today." Those are pivotal moments. They really showcase her burgeoning leadership, even under extreme pressure.
This scenario is such a powerful microcosm of facing an immediate, insidious threat. It really makes you ask, how quickly can something we perceive as secure actually be infiltrated?
Right. It's terrifying.
It is. And when faced with such overwhelming odds, what resources, both internal and external, do we instinctively draw upon? This isn't just about physical combat. It's about the mental and emotional fortitude required when your perceived safe spaces are violently compromised.
Yeah.
Violet's immediate shift into that leadership role, her refusal to yield despite the chaos, it's a compelling example of resilience under extreme duress. It prompts you to reflect on your own responses to unexpected crises. Do you freeze? Do you panic?
Or do you adapt?
Or do you quickly adapt, assess, and leverage whatever tools and allies are available to confront the immediate danger head-on? This initial skirmish really sets the stage for a narrative where that line between safety and peril is just constantly blurred, and vigilance combined with adaptability is paramount for survival.
It definitely underscores that true security often comes not from, fortified walls, but from the unyielding spirit of those defending them.
Navigating the perilous path.
Okay, so as we move deeper into this deep dive, Violet's determination to cure Xaden, which feels like this almost impossible quest, it leads her down increasingly perilous paths.
Yeah, she's laser-focused.
Completely. And these aren't just physical journeys across continents. They feel like profoundly transformative experiences, too. They force her to confront not only external enemies, but the very foundations of her world. Those deeply ingrained beliefs and the limits of her own capabilities. She's constantly pushing boundaries, revealing this fierce willingness to risk absolutely everything for the people she loves, even if it means alienating potential allies or exposing herself to entirely new dangers.
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is Violet's relentless, almost scholarly pursuit of knowledge.
Hmm.
It's particularly illustrated by that audacious deal she strikes with Queen Mariah of Porum.
Right, that was bold.
Incredibly bold. She risks the king's wrath, maybe even her kingdom's defenses, to secure an alliance, but her ultimate personal request from the queen is unfettered access to his library?
Not weapons, not soldiers, books.
Exactly. It speaks volumes about her belief that the most critical answers lie not in military might, but in historical records, especially regarding how the Venin were defeated centuries ago, and crucially for her, how Xaden might be cured.
Yeah.
And the Queen's own offer of her even larger library further reinforces this theme. It demonstrates that the pursuit of ancient wisdom is considered this powerful, indispensable asset, even among royalty. Violet really believes this is their best hope for any historical record of how we defeated the Venin centuries ago and how we can cure them.
It's a profound testament to her scribe roots, isn't it? Valuing information as much as, if not more than, brute force on the battlefield.
It really is.
That's a powerful point, and it makes you consider something important, doesn't it? In our own lives, how often do we maybe overlook the power of historical context, of learned wisdom in solving modern problems?
Good question.
Violet, who's a product of this world where dragons and magic are wielded with immense power, she still instinctively turns to books, archives, the past for solutions. It highlights the critical, often undervalued role of information access and scholarship, even in a world that seems to rely entirely on brute force and immediate action.
Right. It challenges that notion that progress only comes from new inventions or forward-thinking strategies.
Yeah, sometimes the answers to our most pressing challenges, whether they're personal struggles or global conflicts, are hidden in plain sight, preserved in the records of those who faced similar predicaments before us.
It's a compelling reminder that truly being well-informed often requires that deep, dedicated dive into the past, learning from the triumphs and, importantly, the failures of those who came before.
Okay, so the journey through the Isles, that brings a whole fresh set of challenges, and it vividly reveals the varied cultures and dangers that exist beyond Navarre's protective wards.
Yeah, the world expands significantly.
It really does. Their stop in Develi, specifically at King Corlin's court, that's like a masterclass in tricky, high-stakes diplomacy.
Oh, definitely tense.
So tense. Halden's blunders like offering something that isn't his to give, and Corlin's dramatic, immediate dagger-to-the-hand punishment for what he sees as disrespect.
Brutal.
Brutal. It vividly illustrates Develi's culture of shrewd trades and luxury, where honor and respect are fiercely, fiercely guarded. And Corlin's chilling statement, "The dagger was mine to give, it's mine," is swiftly and critically corrected by Xaden, who recognizes it instantly. He says, or rather, should have been, "It's the blade of Anacia." And that seemingly small detail instantly reveals these much deeper political and historical tensions. It shows that even seemingly insignificant objects can carry immense symbolic weight and ignite historical grievances, proving, I guess, that the past is never truly past in these complex political landscapes.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is how this entire incident showcases that intricate dance of international relations, where perceived disrespect or even a minor misjudgment can have immediate and violent consequences.
It's not just about individual characters making mistakes, is it?
Not at all. It's about understanding the unspoken rules, the subtle cues, the deeply embedded cultural values of those you're trying to ally with. It underscores the immense weight of history in contemporary dealings.
Right.
The Develi incident is a stark, brutal lesson in the importance of cultural intelligence and the profound dangers of arrogance or ignorance when you're negotiating with sovereign powers. It forces you to consider how easily misinterpretations can escalate and how past injustices continue to resonate, shaping present interactions and ultimately determining the success or failure of crucial alliances.
It's a harsh reminder that goodwill alone is often not enough, right? Profound understanding is essential.
Absolutely. Now, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the Hodis incident,
Yeah.
that's undeniably a pivotal moment.
Oh, yeah. Intense.
It pushes Xaden's struggles with control to a terrifying new level, while simultaneously showcasing Violet's incredible quick thinking and, frankly, her ruthlessness. The Triumvirate's test, poisoning Garrick with Aaron Mint through chocolate and tea, it forces Violet to leverage her own secret knowledge, her scribe knowledge again, and risk everything.
Yeah.
Her cold calculation, "I'll make you a deal, you give me your antidote and I'll give you mine," and then her subsequent, incredibly bold threat.
That was amazing.
Wasn't it? I have 10 lethally trained riders and flyers, 4 griffins, and 7 pissed-off dragons. The odds are in my favor, hurled right at Ferris's arrogance. It demonstrates this pragmatic, almost brutal pragmatism born of pure desperation.
And then Zayden.
And then Zayden's loss of control. A terrifying surge of his power manifesting in a physical assault on Ferris as he shouts, "You poisoned him! You tried to poison her!" It just vividly underscores his deteriorating state and the terrifying implications of his growing, unstable power.
That scene is absolutely chilling. And it really forces us to confront some difficult questions, doesn't it? It raises that important question about the ethics of fighting fire with fire and the incredibly high personal cost of using those kinds of tactics.
Right. Are the ends justifying the means here?
Exactly. Violet's actions, while ultimately successful in saving her friend, they're undeniably morally ambiguous. She uses the very methods of her enemies against them, kind of blurring that line between heroism and brutality.
Mm-hmm.
So do the ends truly justify the means when lives, and indeed kingdoms, hang in the balance? It's a compelling look at how desperation can lead to these morally gray choices, and how the internal struggles of leaders, like Zayden's horrifying loss of control, can directly and violently impact critical negotiations and the safety of everyone around them.
Yeah. It forces you to consider the immense psychological toll of such high-stakes decision-making, and whether, even if you're successful, these actions leave a permanent stain on your character, on your relationships.
And then there's Zelna, the ancient enigmatic home of Andarna's true kind, the Irids.
A whole different world.
Completely different.
Yeah.
What's truly fascinating here is the sheer, stark difference in culture and perspective between the human allied Navarians and these ancient dragons, the Feathertails, as they're often called.
Who don't bond with humans.
Right. They don't bond to humans, and they view the human-dragon bond as this strange, almost sacrilegious harvest. It highlights this fundamental, maybe unbridgeable divergence in philosophy.
Yeah.
And Darna's own story, her unique bonding with Violet, is met with gasps and utter disbelief from her kin. They ask, "Why would you present yourself to a human?"
Incredible.
Despite Violet's impassioned plea for an alliance against the common threat of the Venin, they ultimately refuse. They deem human-dragon bonding too peculiar, too dangerous maybe for their species.
A huge setback.
Massive, crushing setback for Violet's entire mission. And it's compounded by the heartbreaking, abrupt death of Traeger by an arrow to the heart. Just a stark reminder of the mission's constant random perils.
Okay, let's unpack this moment because it's such a powerful lesson in the inherent limits of empathy and, well, self-interest.
Yeah.
Even when faced with a common existential enemy that threatens all life, deep-seated ideological differences and ingrained traditions can tragically prevent cooperation. The Irids prioritize their unique existence, their traditions, over a shared threat.
It's frustrating to read.
It is. It highlights that unity is not a given, even in the direst circumstances. It profoundly challenges that comfortable idea that shared threats always lead to unity. And it forces us to confront the frustrating reality that sometimes deeply held beliefs and cultural norms are just insurmountable barriers to collaboration, even for survival.
Yeah.
It also underscores the immense weight of disappointment when significant efforts for alliance are met with outright rejection, and the profound cost of such failures on individuals and their larger desperate goals. This kind of ideological divide, even in the face of annihilation, feels, well, disturbingly relevant to our own world, doesn't it?
It really does. And the sheer emotional toll of this journey is just palpable, even reading it. We witness the heartbreaking, utterly brutal loss of Quinn, Violet's best friend.
Oh, Quinn.
In such a devastatingly unexpected way during the battle in Tross. "No helping me," Quinn whispers. "This is one thing you can't fix." Those words just shatter Violet's sense of purpose, her inherent belief in her ability to solve anything.
It's hard.
Her death is this stark, brutal reminder of the random, unforgiving nature of war. It's a force that cares nothing for friendship or skill. And the raw descriptions like Quinn's final words, "Tell Jax that I love her," and Violet's desperate, guttural plea, "You're my best friend and I love you, please stay." They're incredibly poignant. They highlight those deep, unbreakable bonds forged in shared peril and the immense soul-crushing pain of losing them without warning.
It's a moment that resonates so deeply, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, it underscores that even the most well-trained, magically powerful individuals are not immune to tragedy, regardless of their skill or capabilities.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody. It forces us to consider how individuals, especially those carrying immense responsibilities, process profound personal grief while still needing to perform at the highest levels. Violet is a leader, a fighter, a strategist, but she is also profoundly a grieving friend.
Yeah.
This reflects that universal struggle of maintaining composure amidst personal devastation, of putting one foot in front of the other when your world has been shattered. This moment serves as a powerful illustration of how external conflict inevitably leads to internal.
There's no easy path, no simple solution, just a relentless grind of combat, loss, and impossibly difficult choices. And as the story so poignantly reminds us, in a line that I think echoes universal human experience, pain isn't a competition. There's always enough to go around.
That's a powerful quote.
It really is. And look, if you're finding this deep dive into Onyx Storm as compelling as we are, just a quick reminder, you can find and follow Artificially Literate on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. We have more discussions there exploring the philosophical and literal meanings behind the stories that captivate us.
Definitely check it out.
We'll be right back after a short break with more insights into Violet's tumultuous journey and the shocking truths that, believe it or not, still await her.
Unveiling truths and facing the future.
All right, we're back. After that harrowing journey through the Isles and the profound losses endured, our deep dive now brings us to some truly shocking, really paradigm-shifting revelations about Violet and Xaden's true identities and the deeply buried secrets their parents kept from them.
Yeah, this is where things get really turned upside down.
Completely. These truths threaten to unravel everything they thought they knew about themselves, about each other, and about the very foundations of their world. It feels like a moment where the past just collides violently with the present, basically rewriting history as they know it.
What's truly fascinating here is that earth-shattering revelation about Violet's true nature. She is, in fact, an Irid, a unique type of dragon with extraordinary power, something unseen among humans for centuries.
Mind-blowing.
It completely flips our understanding of her supposed physical weaknesses and explains her unique abilities, right? And it's also tied to a much bigger prophecy. But intertwined with this astonishing truth is an even more terrifying one about Xaden's condition, revealed by his own mother, Talia, and the formidable Ferris. He is the dark wielder her father, Asher Sorengale, had warned about. He is not Violet. Those lines, "They tried to fix me by giving me to Dune, and he's the reason we survived Basgiath since December. He's stable." It just completely flips the script on who the true danger is, who is to blame, and who has been protected all along. This is a masterful twist, isn't it? Diverting the reader's suspicions from Violet to Xaden and revealing this generational burden that transcends individual choice. It's like a curse passed down through bloodlines.
That's a truly powerful and honestly disorienting reveal. It immediately raises that important question. How deeply are we influenced, maybe even predetermined, by our lineage and the carefully guarded secrets of our past?
Right, nature versus nurture on a grand scale.
Exactly. And how does our perception of ourselves and, crucially, of others, irrevocably change when such fundamental truths are suddenly brought to light? For Violet, it's this revelation of hidden strength and a destiny far greater than she imagined. But for Xaden, it's the terrifying confirmation of an inherited curse, a darkness within. This is a profound exploration of inherited destiny versus self-determination. Are we merely bound by the choices and natures of our ancestors, or can we truly forge our own path, overcoming the burdens of the past?
It's a huge question.
It is. The sheer shock of these revelations forces the characters, and by extension us, the readers, to reevaluate every past interaction, every perceived flaw, to recontextualize their entire understanding of the world they inhabit. It truly highlights how carefully constructed narratives by powerful figures can mislead for years, shaping not just public perception, but individual identity itself.
And Xaden's inner turmoil. It reaches this agonizing peak throughout this section. His shadow power is growing, tied profoundly to the earth itself, making him capable of horrible things, as he himself admits in these chilling moments of vulnerability.
Yeah, he's aware of it.
He is. He struggles fiercely with his identity and, more desperately, with controlling this terrifying power. He even tells Violet with heartbreaking honesty, "I can't even trust myself enough to touch you." Oof. His profound terror of losing control makes him distance himself from the very person he loves most, highlighting the immense personal cost of his condition. That scene in the gathering hall is incredibly potent, isn't it?
Yeah, unforgettable.
He kisses Violet with this desperate hunger, a brief moment of connection, but then agonizingly pulls away, saying, "You are the only person in the world with the power to strip me of every ounce of my control, and the only person I can't fathom losing that control with."
Wow.
And his declaration of love, even amidst this fear, "I would still love you," What I did doesn't change that. I'm not sure anything can. It just underscores his profound fear of what he might become and the depth of his devotion, even in his darkest, most self-loathing moments.
This internal struggle, so vividly depicted, it's a truly poignant exploration of that profound fear of self-betrayal and the harrowing struggle to integrate one's darker, more destructive capabilities. It forces us to consider how love and trust are pushed to their absolute limits when one partner grapples with something inherently dangerous within themselves, and how control, in such circumstances, is both a crucial shield and, well, a suffocating cage. Zedon's struggle is a powerful metaphor, I think, for anyone battling an addiction, a destructive impulse, or an aspect of their nature they deeply fear. He makes that agonizing choice to cage himself, to withdraw, to protect Violet from his potential harm, even at the cost of their intimacy and his own desire for connection.
It's heartbreaking.
It is, and it raises critical questions about the very nature of true love. Is it about unwavering physical presence, or is it about making painful, selfless sacrifices for the safety and well-being of the beloved, even if it means separation? It's a poignant exploration of how identity can be shattered and reformed under the unbearable weight of such terrifying truths. A reminder that some of the greatest battles are fought within.
And speaking of heartbreaking, Andarna's departure, that is arguably one of the most gut-wrenching moments in the entire book.
Oh, absolutely. Brutal.
Her choice to leave Violet, fueled by her understanding of her own kind, her ancient purpose, and the existential threats they all face. It leaves Violet in this state of profound, almost catatonic grief and numbness. It reflects intensely in her internal monologue. Andarna is gone. I barely leave our bed.
You feel her emptiness.
You really do. This is a crushing blow, not just emotionally, but also in terms of Violet's unique connection and power, right? Andarna was a unique amplifier of her abilities.
Yeah.
And Terran's own emotional response, his staunch refusal to leave Violet's side, further emphasizes the depth of their bonds and his unwavering support. His raw growl, "Do not ask me to find that strength or I will fail you."
Telling it.
It highlights the absolute extreme to which his loyalty and emotional fortitude are pushed. It reveals the profound impact of Andarna's absence on all those connected to Violet, and the sheer burden of continuing when a fundamental piece of your world is just ripped away.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it reflects that harsh, often unwelcome reality that not all bonds, no matter how deep or significant, are permanent.
Sadly, no.
And sometimes, true love means making that agonizing choice to let go for the greater good, even if it utterly shatters you. And Andarna's departure isn't a betrayal, is it?
No, it feels like a sacrifice.
It does. It's a mature and incredibly painful decision made for the survival of her species and for Violet's ultimate protection, knowing her continued presence would endanger both. It's a raw, unflinching portrayal of grief and the agonizing day-by-day process of finding a way to keep living when a fundamental, irreplaceable part of your life is suddenly irrevocably absent. It forces us to confront the idea that sacrifice isn't always heroic and triumphant. Sometimes it's just this quiet, devastating choice to step back, leaving immense pain and an unfillable void in its wake. It profoundly tests the resilience of the human spirit in finding meaning and purpose after such profound, irreplaceable loss.
And all the while, Theophany, the relentless, silver-haired dark wielder, continues to be this formidable and terrifying threat throughout this entire arc.
She's always lurking.
Always. She is actively hunting Andarna and attempting to manipulate Violet, always seeming to be a step ahead. Her repeated appearances, particularly her chilling missive at the very end, that cryptic but potent message, "I have the one thing you seek above all else."
Gives you chills.
It keeps the stakes incredibly, almost impossibly high. This isn't just some generic villain. She's a master manipulator with terrifying foresight and an almost omniscient reach. As evidenced by Violet's stark realization, she knew we were gone, she saw us fly over Pavis, and somehow delivered this here before we arrived.
How does she do that?
Right. Theophany isn't merely reacting to their moves. She's anticipating, planning, and striking at the character's most vulnerable points. It makes her an exceptionally dangerous and intelligent adversary who consistently forces our protagonists onto the defensive.
This raises an important question for all of us then. When you're facing an enemy with such pervasive knowledge, seemingly unlimited power, and terrifying foresight, how do you even begin to strategize for a future that feels inherently compromised, where every move feels observed?
It feels almost hopeless sometimes.
It does. Theophany embodies that concept of an omnipresent, deeply informed threat. A shadow that seems to anticipate and counter every single move. This emphasizes the constant, suffocating pressure of a truly intelligent and adaptable adversary, forcing our protagonists to constantly question their security, their alliances, their every single plan. It profoundly challenges the conventional hero narrative where the villain is eventually outwitted through brute force or cleverness. Here, the villain's intelligence is this constant, suffocating force, pushing the heroes to their absolute limits and making every decision a high-stakes gamble. How do you find hope and agency when your opponent seems to be perpetually several steps ahead and the future feels so profoundly out of your control?
Ultimately, though, Onyx Storm is, at its very core, about the fierce, unyielding love and loyalty that binds these characters together, even when tested by immense pressure, profound betrayal, and unimaginable loss.
Yes, that's the anchor.
It is. The deep, often telepathic bonds between riders and their dragons, the unbreakable camaraderie between squad mates, and that desperate, raw love between Violet and Xaden, they aren't merely plot devices. They are the very engine of their survival and the core of their humanity.
You see it so clearly.
You do. We see it powerfully in Xaden's constant vigilance and sacrifice for Violet, his remarkable return from the brink of losing control, and his unwavering, quiet presence for her, even in her profound grief. These relationships define each character's choices and fuel their resilience.
That's so true. It really asks us, what are the true limits of human and dragon endurance in the face of unimaginable adversity?
Yeah.
And what is the true meaning of strength when faced with inevitable, painful change that strips you of so much? It's clear it's not just about wielding power or winning battles.
No, it's deeper.
It's about the unwavering commitment to those you cherish, even when that love brings immense pain and demands impossible sacrifices. The story demonstrates that true strength lies not in invincibility, but in the courage to face loss, embrace vulnerability, and continue fighting for a future, no matter how uncertain or bleak, for the sake of those you love. The story leaves us with such a potent question. When your greatest strength is also your greatest danger, and the future of your world depends on your ability to control it, what sacrifices are truly unforgivable, and what risks are undeniably worth taking? It's a question that resonates far beyond the pages of this book, I think. And as Violet and Xaden, and indeed all the characters, navigate their complex reality, their choices echo a sentiment that kind of binds them together through all the chaos and uncertainty. You're mine, and I love you too.
As we conclude this deep dive into Onyx Storm, it's abundantly clear that this is a story not just of dragons and war, but really of the internal battles we all face in our own lives. That struggle for control, the profound pain of loss, and the unwavering and often arduous pursuit of truth, no matter how uncomfortable or shattering it might be. The characters' tumultuous journeys really mirror our own constant navigation of complex information, ethical dilemmas, and emotional landscapes in a world that constantly throws unexpected challenges our way.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Onyx Storm here on Artificially Literate. We sincerely hope this conversation has given you maybe a fresh perspective, ignited your curiosity, or provided you with some truly memorable takeaways, hopefully helping you look at the world and perhaps even your own stories a little differently.
We hope so.
Don't forget to check out our other episodes. You can follow Artificially Literate on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube for more discussions where we explore the philosophical and literal meanings behind the stories that captivate us. Stay tuned because we've got our next book already lined up and ready to explore. Should be a good one.
Looking forward to it.
Until then, remember, feed your brain, starve your inner fool.